guys, and welcome back to Wrong show, sorry. Hey guys, welcome back to Topic Talks. I'm Steph, and what is our topic this week? Well, if you watched last week's Twice Time episode, which if you didn't, what are you doing with your life? I hinted that the topic this week would be about the recent water discoveries in our solar system, and spoiler alert, that's what it is. So this week we're talking about water worlds. No, not that Kevin Costner movie, actual places in our solar system where water has been discovered. And this is a huge deal because, since water is like one of the essential ingredients for life as we know it, which is awesome. And also finding worlds like this helps us answer questions that we might have about our own planet. As NASA's Planetary Sciences Director Jim Green stated last week, the solar system is looking like a pretty soggy place. Now this quote was in reference to the discovery of water on Ganymede, one of Jupiter's moons. And we're not talking about just a little bit of water here, we're talking about massive oceans of salt water, 10 times deeper than anything seen on Earth. If you total up all the water estimated to be in these oceans, it's more than all the oceans of Earth combined. These monster oceans are buried beneath 150 kilometers of icy crust on Ganymede's surface. Now Ganymede is special for a couple of reasons. Not only is it Jupiter's largest moon, but it's also the largest moon in our solar system. And it's the only moon that we know of that has its own magnetic field. As a result of its magnetic field, Ganymede has its own auroras, very similar to the ones that we've been seeing all over the world the last couple of days due to the massive solar storm that's going on right now. Now what sets these auroras apart is the fact that Ganymede is embedded within Jupiter's own magnetic field, which causes the auroras to rock back and forth. It was this rocking motion that tipped off scientists to the existence of the oceans beneath the crust. Now, the theory that there were oceans on Ganymede is nothing new. In fact, scientists have suspected that there might be oceans on Ganymede since the 1970s. But it wasn't until 2002 when NASA's Galileo spacecraft took actual measurements of the magnetic field that these suspicions started to get a little bit more evidence to back it up. This latest discovery comes out of a group of researchers from the University of Cologne in Germany. They came up with a really innovative way to use the Hubble Space Telescope. You may have heard of it.
The team of scientists was led by Joachim Saar, whose name I probably just butchered, and I am so sorry for that. Saar had this to say: I was always brainstorming how we could use a telescope in other ways. Is there a way you could use a telescope to look inside a planetary body? Then I thought, the aurorae. Because aurorae are controlled by the magnetic field, if you observe the aurorae in an appropriate way, you learn something about the magnetic field. If you know the magnetic field, then you know something about the moon's interior.
So how exactly did Hubble help find these oceans? The scientists used Hubble to study the rocking of the auroras that we talked about. Now scientists knew that if these large bodies of saltwater existed underneath the surface as they suspected, it would create a secondary magnetic field, which would create a sort of magnetic friction and counteract Jupiter's magnetic field. This magnetic friction would then reduce the rocking of the auroras. Now scientists figured out that if there was no secondary magnetic field, that the auroras would rock back and forth at about 6 degrees. But what they found was that the auroras actually only rocked about 2 degrees. This pretty much confirmed their suspicions that huge bodies of saltwater have to exist beneath the surface, but we won't really know until we send a spacecraft there to absolutely 100% confirm it. But at this point, we're about as certain as we can get. Now Ganymede wasn't the only moon last week to have water found on it. New research from UC Boulder and Cassini's mission scientists suggests that Enceladus, Saturn's 6th largest moon, also has an ocean stashed away beneath its surface. Now the Cassini spacecraft has been hanging out in the Saturn system since 2004. In that time, it's been detecting teeny tiny little particulates that have silica in them floating around the system. These tiny grains may be indications of hydrothermal activity occurring on Enceladus. They suspect that these tiny grains may have been formed by chemical reactions between a rocky crust and super hot water, as in 194 degree Fahrenheit hot water. Hydrothermal activity occurs here on Earth when seawater penetrates a rocky crust, like our own, and reacts with it. This process yields a super hot, mineral-rich solution. Now we know that this process definitely happens on Earth, but this is the first time that we've ever heard of it happening on an icy moon. Now, as I stated earlier, these particles are made of silica, which is highly abundant in Earth's crust. Now, particles of this size are formed on Earth when slightly alkaline seawater that is super saturated with silica experiences an extreme temperature drop. So for anyone that missed this in science class, space is super cold. So if these particles are getting ejected into space, yeah, I would say they're experiencing an extreme temperature drop. Now, scientists also suspect that hydrothermal activity could be the culprit behind these huge methane plumes that they're seeing at Enceladus' south pole. This additional information supports the theory that there are warm oceans hiding out underneath Enceladus' icy surface. Now these two places aren't the only two places in the solar system where water has been found. They're just the latest and greatest discoveries.
In fact, in an article published in Popular Mechanics this week, they talk about 23 places in our solar system alone where water has been discovered. I'll link to that article in the description down below.
Among the places discussed in this article is Ceres, which if you recall from a couple weeks ago when the Dawn mission got there, we talked a little bit about the possibility of water being there. I'll go ahead and link to that story right about here. Also, fun fact for those of you playing at home and watching on a mobile device, you won't see the annotation, you have to be on a computer. I pinky swear I'm not a crazy person just pointing at nothing, it's actually there. In addition to Ceres, there's also Europa, which I am so excited about because we are finally sending a mission there, and that'll happen in my lifetime. So why again are these discoveries so exciting? I mean, it is just water. And that's exactly it. Water is something you take for granted, but it is something that's essential to life on Earth as we know it. With each place in the universe that we come to find water on, we get one step closer to answering that burning question that we all have. Are we alone in the universe? And after thinking about all the places in our solar system alone that we have found water, I like our odds of finding some cosmic neighbors. So that's it, guys. That's this week's topic talk. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate every view. If you like this kind of stuff, don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for all your STEM needs. Quick reminder, there won't be a Twi-STEM episode this weekend, but I will be dropping a Q&A video on Saturday, so look out for that. There also won't be a Topic Talks episode next week because I'm traveling on Monday, so I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to do any research, but I will be filming something extra special this weekend that I'm very excited about, so there will be a video next Wednesday, just not your typical Topic Talk. In addition, I found a super awesome Kickstarter called Budding STEM that I think that you guys should check out, especially if you're really into supporting women in STEM and outreach for young women. I'll go ahead and link to that down in the description, so look for that. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Twi-STEM will be back in 2 weeks, so don't forget, if you find any super awesome STEM news stories, don't forget to tweet them at me at StephEvs43 on Twitter. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you later.